Donald Trump is coming after me. He's coming after other left-wing influencers, and he's coming after other left-wing organizations. And no one's talking about it. No one's talking about it. We have to talk about it because Donald Trump has created a terrorism watch list that's domestic, where it gives him unspeakable powers to monitor and watch people he deems as enemies of the state, most of whom are just left-leaning individuals. Here is Harry Sisson talking a little bit about this.
Look, this is incredibly important. People need to know about it. We've seen Donald Trump take incredibly dictatorial actions in just the last month, whether it be indicting former FBI Director James Comey, indicting the Attorney General of New York, or attacking nonprofit groups that he doesn't like and trying to take away their tax-exempt status. All of this is insane, and all of it is connected. What Trump is trying to do here is silence political opponents. If somebody doesn't like him, if somebody has held him accountable in court, if somebody has advocated for a policy that he doesn't like, he wants to go after them. And with these nonprofit groups especially, they're not even political. They're serving veterans, homeless people, hungry people in their communities, and Donald Trump wants to attack them, make it impossible for them to operate. It's insane. Look, I think we can all agree that regardless of political affiliation, the president of the United States should not be doing this. They should not have this power, whether it's a Democrat or Republican in office. This is insane, and it's antithetical to what we do here in America.
Well, it is antithetical to what we used to do here in America, but that's what is happening now in America. I also have reporting from Ken Klippenstein talking about this more, about a secretive watch list center executing NSPM 7. Now, NSPM 7, if you don't know, is the executive order Donald Trump signed that is called Countering Domestic Terrorism and Organized Political Violence. In simple terms, it orders federal law enforcement to aggressively investigate, disrupt, and dismantle domestic political groups, networks, and supporters like funders or NGOs that are deemed to promote or enable political violence. How do they deem it? How do they measure that? We don't know. Probably it's more about what they're saying. If it's anti-Trump, and if it is, then they label it as a terrorist organization. Now, it's dangerous because it uses broad and vague categories, e.g. anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, extremism, that could be used to label dissent or opposition as terrorism, as I just said. It pushes investigations not just of violent actors, but of those tangentially associated like funders or critics, raising serious First Amendment and due process concerns. It concentrates power in law enforcement to surveil and target political opponents, potentially chilling free speech and activism. Well, I gotta say, before we get into any more of this, I'm not gonna be chilled. I am not going to obey in advance. Lock me up. If you want to lock me up for saying Donald Trump is a punk ass bitch, do it. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'll say it behind bars. There's nothing more American than criticizing your president. And if you want to join me, please do leave a comment for Donald Trump to see below. Apparently they're watching. And if you want to help make this channel more powerful, all you got to do is hit like on this video and subscribe. Now, let's go on to what is being reported here. With the mainstream media distracted by the made-for-TV drama James Comey's indictment, Trump has signed a little-noticed national security directive identifying anti-Christian and anti-American views as indicators of radical left-wing violence. Stephen Miller said, "This is the first time in American history that there is an all-of-government effort to dismantle left-wing terrorism." NBS 7 directs a new national strategy to disrupt any individual or groups that foment political violence, including before they result in violent political acts. In other words, they're targeting pre-crime, and to reference Minority Report, the Trump administration isn't only targeting organizations, groups, but even individuals and entities like me, who NSPM 7 says can be identified by any of the following indicators of violence: anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity, support for the overthrow of the United States government, extremism on migration. What the hell does that mean? Extremism on race. What the hell does that mean? Extremism on gender. What does that mean? Hostility towards those who hold traditional American family values. Hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on religion, and hostility toward those who hold traditional American views on morality. What does hostility mean? What does that mean? That's so broad. Quote from the directive, the United States requires a national strategy to investigate and disrupt networks, entities, and organizations that foment political violence so that law enforcement can intervene in criminal conspiracies before they result in violent acts. Some history here. Pre-crime endeavor of preventing attacks before they happen is core to the post-9/11 concept of counterterrorism itself. No longer satisfied to investigate acts of terrorism after the fact to bring terrorists to justice, the Bush administration adopted preemption. Overseas, that led to aerial assassination by drones and, quote, special operations kill missions. Domestically, it led to a counterterrorism campaign whose hallmark was excessive and illegal government surveillance and the use of undercover agents and confidential human sources. Now, with Trump's directive retooling the counterterror apparatus to go after Americans at home, this means monitoring political activity or speech as an investigative method to discover radicalism. Contrary to other national security documents, all during the post-Watergate era, NSPM 7 doesn't even mention the First Amendment or the fundamental right of Americans to organize and protest. So that, again, I just want to keep putting exclamation points on this. This means that if you are seen as someone who promotes extremism on gender, or you're against American traditional family values, what it's so broad, what does that even mean? It gives the FBI and the federal government the ability and authority to start investigating you without any due process. It's insane. It is insane. As Ken Klippenstein says here, I don't want to sound hyperbolic, but the plain truth is that NSPM 7 is a declaration of war on anyone who does not support the Trump administration and its agenda. Yes, it repeats the word violent over and over to purport only to go after citizens who are moved to take up arms, but it also directs monitoring and intelligence collection to map and target new evildoers, to borrow a Bush label he took from the Bible just days after 9/11. The partisan focus couldn't be more obvious. So there's not much we can do about this right now. I would suggest going and protesting No King's Day on October 18th. I would suggest dressing up like some sort of inflatable something that is non-threatening. Certainly look as non-threatening as possible. We want this to be a peaceful, joyous event because we are doing what? We're doing what all Americans have done before us. We are saying no to anyone who tells us what the F to do. And I think what better way to celebrate the fact that we are not ruled by any one person and to truly push back on these unconstitutional actions against the government's own citizens, against Americans' own citizens, than to protest. It couldn't be more American than to go out and say, F you, make me. That's what I'll be doing. I hope you'll join me because I'm not scared. Like I said, I'm going to keep talking. If they throw me in some jail, I'm going to keep talking. Start writing. You're not going to shut me up. Never. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit like on the video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, and I'll see you on Saturday, October 18th for No King's Day.